Alrighty, there we go, guys. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the stream here. I certainly hope you guys are doing pretty good today, because I'm not doing too bad myself. It's Tuesday once again, and so we are going to be playing some Planet Coaster today. Did a little bit of work in the park, just some smaller details that I did off stream. Nothing too crazy. Like I try to keep it a little more sane off stream, just to see. I also try a few things off stream as well, just to kind of show you what things I do. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the game thing, so I already have it loaded up and everything. So let me pop in here. Then I realized that I did not turn it on in OBS. So give me 1 second here. Game capture. This is usually the one thing I forget, as I will forget to switch it over to the next game. Let's see here. There it is. Done. There we go. That looks better. Now, if you were here last week with us, you'll know that this is what we were working on. This is going to be our pub here. We did get our entrance done, but if you see here, we actually have a few trees in front of it and just off to the sides here. I did actually make these planters off stream here. They're just real basic, nothing too fancy here. Just got a couple of trees in there. I'll probably add a few flowers, maybe some smaller bushes. Then just using the coconut piece to make the mulch there. And over here, I also added another little bit larger one back here. I don't know if those trees are going to be staying though, just because I saw something, an interesting building technique. I was watching, I think, Summerdale on Bro Nation with Mass Bandit, and he actually had some trees in his park that I loved how they were built. And essentially they take, try to actually build one real quick, kind of show you how it looked, and it dawned me what it was while they were kind of going through the park there. He had a guest on there. Let's see here. I believe he used this wooden pole here, and move this out here. So he took something like that, and then he actually just put a bush on top of it. And this is kind of how it looked. Let me see if I can find a bush really quick. I don't think that's... But he did something like this. And I'll be honest with you, that's not a bad looking tree. And it's not a... it's like a little bit taller version of what we have back here. So I very well might use that back here, just to kind of help fill in the space a little bit better. Because this is quite a bit larger area than other than the ones up front here. Up front I think they're okay, but I think back here they might actually benefit from having some larger trees. So let's go ahead and just remove those two, and we'll put the wooden post on top of these bushes. I might add a bit more foliage in here too, but not quite sure yet. Scroll down to the pole. Let's see here. And that is something I like to do. I do like watching other people's parks, and while it's neat to see what they build in there to get ideas, it's also neat just to see how they do certain stuff, like these trees. And that's where I get a lot of some of my ideas. I don't get all my ideas from something like that, but it is pretty neat to see stuff like this, though. And then if we just shrink this down just a little bit, like so, hit OK there. We can also come back through and just do that, and so we can add two bushes in there, and we can have a nice, interesting looking tree. You know, you wouldn't have that something like that beforehand, but I really quite like that. So let's go ahead and add another pole. Try to select the pole here. There we go. Just duplicate that over here. Oh, well, that didn't work out. It's gonna be a hard time, I get a feeling. But yeah, if you guys are curious what we're going to be doing today, we're actually going to be working on this back patio, so that's why I was kind of interested to see how this, or kind of show you guys what I was doing back here. So let me go ahead and add this last tree in here. Luca, how you doing today? Good afternoon to you, sir. There we go. I think that looks pretty good, actually. You know what? I'm going to make it a little bit shorter, though. I somehow started the Steam overlay. That was not ideal. Make that a little bit shorter there, but I think that'll work out just fine. The tree does look a little wild, though. If we do something like that, though, I think that looks a lot better. You see there, that was our Rapids ride. They have a boat going up the hill here. I'm doing pretty good, Luca. Thanks for asking. But yeah, I think that looks like a lot better on there. I didn't even... I hit blueprint. Oh, that's not going to work out very well. There we go. But yeah, no, this is... I didn't do too much. I spent maybe a half hour in the game just kind of playing around with a few things and seeing how things would go. Now, something I did get last week, and I forgot to show you guys. I wanted to show off something that I found on Theme Maker's Toolkit, which I think are fantastic. And I think they're a small detail, but I think they would add so much to this. But let's go ahead and just add just a bit of a bit more bushing to this area here. I don't know what this is. I mean, it's called I think it's called scavola, maybe. But I see this a lot in parks, and you know, I think it would work good really here. I do kind of wish they would make a smaller version of it, because I mean, you have planters like this that could, you know, use stuff like this very well. But I think we're going to delete it from this one. We'll find some other ways to actually kind of fill in this area. I don't know quite how I'm going to do that yet, but I'll find a way. But let me go ahead and head back over to Thunder Falls here. Because something I found the other day, I think I actually found it last week. You can see here we have you will get very wet on this ride, which I think is a great sign. But there's another sign I found that I think we need to put on the entrance of all of our rides eventually. We won't probably do that today, but we'll probably do the ones probably in the 80s section. Especially the rides we've already built. Finding them is going to be the harder part, because while Theme Maker Toolkit has really changed this game, idea-wise it's not been great. So it's actually something like this. I think I want to put this one up here. So if you see here, let it load for a second. There it is. Line that to surface here. We'll have that rotated here. You know what? I bet you this would look better if we did it on a pole over here. So let me do that real quick. Pole 4 meter to give us enough room to do what we want to do. I'll delete that other pole, but that's okay. Let's see here. Delete that. Theme Maker's Toolkit. And scroll down a little bit more, because we lost our spot. There it is. And it's actually, if you've ever been to an amusement park, you've seen one of these signs, or if you've read the maps, because they have it on here. So I found these. These are actually Planet Coaster safety information signs, and these actually come in 5 different sizes, from 1, which is kind of the low risk, kind of slow rides, all the way up to level 5, which is kind of the high intensity. Usually all roller coasters are usually a 5. Not all of them, but usually. And I think these are hilarious, or not hilarious, but I think they work out really well, and they actually have, like, it looks like, you know, information about the ride, things like that. Even though it's a little hard to read, and I believe it is in Planet Coaster speak, like this stuff. Like safety information, the warning, important information below, but like all this smaller stuff is in what they call Planco speak, I think it is. And I don't remember what that is, but if you ever let the game play, you hear people talking, they're actually speaking in Planco. So, you know, it's pretty neat. Let's just go ahead and pull this out here. I wanted to do this last week, and I forgot about these things, but I think they're great. I think they add a little bit to it, just a little more detail when you're kind of flying around the park and you kind of look at one of your rides. You know, I just think it adds a little bit more to it. So over here, I think I will put this on just a regular. I think I'll use one of the road poles. I think that'll work out pretty well here. I think I'll probably put the rest of them on road poles, because I think that's a little more just kind of standard. But with, that's not what I wanted to do. With Thunder Falls, though, it's a little more themed, so I think putting on that wood post made a little more sense. That's what we're looking for. Come on. go. We'll probably just make this like a nice gray color like that. And then shrink it down because it's way too tall for right this second. And then, so the bumper cars would probably get a, you know what, I bet you I can do something here that would help. What is this called over here? This is called a safety sign. And while we have a couple other ones, I think it's a little easy to see all 5 of them now. And I'll give the bumper cars a 2, because technically there is a risk of collision, as all bumper cars are. So something like that. Let's go ahead and we'll just duplicate this and move it over to Shockwave, which we do need to put a, we need to make a sign for this. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I've seen how other people do their signs, and I might try to do something similar to that. Once again, from, I think it was Summerdale. So let's say Bro Nation. Well, I mean, technically it is Bro Nation, but it came from Summerdale, which is a cool park if you haven't got to see that yet. So we'll add that as a 5. I mean, I think this would be a 5. I mean, it goes upside down 6 times, and it's a pretty hefty drop. So I would say that's a pretty good indication that might be a little more intense than. I mean, it looks kind of intense, anyways. You see the double loops there, which, number one, I didn't know I framed it like this, but it looks, you know, you can actually see the double loops there. I like that photo of it, so that is pretty neat. But our discus ride, one of the few rides that actually has a sign to it. I do want to just add a pole. Let's see. Let's go ahead and add that. Duplicate that over here. We'll put it on this side because I got a feeling a lot more people coming from this side than the other side. Like so. Did I really hit the... I hit the... I just clicked, you know, clicked somewhere, and I happened to hit the cancel button. That was not ideal. Alright, one more poll here. And I'll probably make this... You know what? Let me look it up, because I'm not really sure what to make a discus ride, because I've ridden them. I don't think they're too bad. But there is probably a standard of, like, hey, this is a... you know, this is a certain, you know, since it's this this certain ride, it's got a certain thrill level, so you have to mark it as this. I don't know that for a fact. It's probably based on what company owns it. Let me see if I can find... I'm looking at Kings Islands because... Yeah, I don't know if it'll show it on here. Hold on. So I'm going to find a ride guide. Well, that's not going to help me. Let's see if we go over here to the, here. Rider, heights, and safety, maybe? We'll see. So I kind of want to make this a little more as accurate as possible. Thrill rides. That does not help me at all. Aha, here we go, I think. Here, let me pull it up on so you guys can see this of what I'm actually talking about. Let me just turn my monitor on. So here we go. So this is on, if you type, I think I typed in Kings Island Ride Guide. And you get something like this. It's called the 2020 Guest Assistance Guide. So this is kind of what I'm talking about here. So if you see these on park maps quite a bit, you'll see actually the category like low ride, mild thrill ride, moderate thrill ride, high thrill rides, and aggressive thrill rides. So right now I've named Thunder Falls a 3, which is a moderate thrill ride. So if you see here, it says rides that generically have low to medium speeds and or heights with moderate motion and braking. Riders may encounter unexpected changes in direction and or speed during the portions of the ride. And I think that kind of fits with Thunder Falls. We'll even check the one, there's one on here, it's called Whitewater Canyon. It's a very similar ride. And then so, but since I named Shockwave a 5, a 5 is a ride that generally has one or more of the following: high speeds and or heights, Aggressive and unexpected forces and rapid directional or elevation changes. Riders will encounter many unexpected rapid changes in speed, direction, and or elevation. I got a feeling it's probably most coasters. Not all. I mean, if you go to more of a kiddie coaster, which we haven't really planned we haven't really done a kiddie land here. We might have to do that here soon. But yeah, you can kind of see this a little bit better. If you want to read this yourself, you can more than welcome to Google it as well. But I want to go ahead and scroll down here. These are actually all just different things here. They're kind of neat. But here's all the rides that these are like braces and stuff like that. Some of this is actually employee stuff, which is kind of neat to see online here. But I'm kind of... Oh, here we go. We're actually getting into rides here. They're in order. So Delirium actually is a 5. I'm kind of surprised about that. But this is the this is what we called I think discus in the game. So so technically it's considered a 5. So that is okay then. I can go ahead and close the monitor then, but it's pretty neat. I'll move that over to my other screen here, just so I can keep stuff like that up. You know, and you know what I think. We're going to work on the patio. We're going to do that today too, but I think I am going to actually go through and mark all the rides, because this actually is kind of fun. Just kind of read about stuff like this. Well, that didn't work out very well. So Discus is now labeled a 5, which is kind of the most extreme. And funny enough, they actually use, if you see here, it's kind of the double diamond standard. They actually use these in all there. So I think it starts out with like just if you look here, let me slam all 5 out real quick. Well, real quick in Theme Maker's Toolkit does not usually work out very well. So you got a circle for 1, and then you got a triangle for 2. I think you get to a square for 3, and then you go to a black or a diamond for 4. They're all black, but and then as you get to 5, you get the double diamond, which I'm not mistaken is also the same way they label ski slopes, if I'm not mistaken, because like a double diamond, like double black diamond slope is like the hardest one you can do. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's how they label them. But this is how they label them here, even at Kings Island, so that's pretty neat. So yeah, let's go back through our park here and label our rides. Now this is a drop tower ride. I'm 95% sure it's probably going to be a high one. Or no, actually, funny enough, so I'm reading, Kings Island has one called Drop Zone. I don't think we've named this one yet. It's called Hyper Jump number 7. It's actually only considered a level 4 thrill, so let's go ahead and add that in as well. Let's get the poll in. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Add the 4 in here. I'll have to move it just a little bit, but that's okay. And probably won't stay like this. But you know, I figured at least if I put the signs up, I can then come back a little later, and when we actually do make signs, stuff like that, we can actually post the signs where we want them. Now, oddly enough, Kings Island used to have a go-kart track, and I don't remember what the thrill level was. But to me, it's not a huge, like, it's not a fast track. So I think we'll label this one a 3. I'm going to give it at least a 3, because it's moderate. I mean, say it was moderate changes of direction. I mean, you control, the change of direction for the most part, unless somebody hits you. So I want to say, yeah, that's probably a 3. I could be totally wrong about that, but if anybody else has any ideas, or maybe their own park has something a little bit different, let me know in the chat here. I will make sure I get that pulled up here. There we go, so I can see it. There we go. Let's head back through to the original park, because I know I got this urge to do this. I think it's kind of neat. So the next one we'd come to is the Scrambler. Yeah. So let's see. You know what? I need to copy the poll over here. Somebody or my dad told me my dad always watches the stream for most part, and we were going somewhere the other day, and he goes, every time you whistle or kind of hum like that, you're whistling the Doug theme song. I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? And later on, I went and listened to it, and it's pretty accurate of what I actually do. And now every time I hum like that, I think of the Doug theme song, and I just sing the Doug theme song, which is not ideal, but it happens. All right, so this is the scrambler here. Let's see if we can see what Kings Island says that they're going to make their scrambler at. They've labeled it as a 3. That seems like a pretty fair assessment. Let's do something like that. Looks pretty good. Next one over is going to be the Flying Eagles. I think these are. Yes, they are. And I think we're going to need a poll for this one because this happened conveniently. That just happened to have a poll that we can use. Let's see here. I'll put it there and then move it down to where it should be. Now, I don't think. I mean, to me, I don't think Kings Island itself has a kind of Flying Eagles type ride. But I would say it's probably a 3. Probably something like that. Funny enough, I just scrolled past it. They actually labeled their Rapids ride Whitewater Canyon actually as a 4. I guess I could kind of see that. Just probably a little more faster, which in a lot of change of direction, which I guess the spinning would cause that. But I don't know. I think I'm okay with labeling it a 3. It's a moderate throw because fair enough. I guess Whitewater Canyon doesn't really have that big of a drop either. So I don't know. I'm leaving it like it is. Now, I'm 95% certain I know what to name or label the wooden coaster because I base it on, or partially on, the Beast, which the Beast is labeled as a level 5. So I had a feeling I probably knew what I was going to label that one as. So let's not the turkey cart there. Let's head down this way. I need this pole. And the toolkit label us 5 because I had no doubt that it was going to be a 5. I just wanted to see what they thought, which once again they labeled it as a 5. So we'll do something like that. I don't know if I'm going to do a sign for Splinter because it already has the big sign on the coaster. So I don't know quite if I'll do like a sign out here. I still might. But we'll see about that one. Let's see. The grain carousel will be next. I need to get a pole again. I think right there looks pretty good to put this one down. And yes, the signs are massive, but I guess in the main park, they are in any park like that. They are kind of big, so people can read them. So let's see here. Shot, shake, rattle, and roll. That'll be up a little more then. Or is it? Hold on. Maybe not. Where is the Grand Carousel at? There it is. So it's labeled a 1. Didn't know about that one. It was kind of iffy if it was a 1 or 2, but yeah, that makes sense. So let's label that as a 1. It's the first 1 we have in the park. There we go. Looks pretty good. And then we'll do the gondola next. That's Kings Island does not have one of those, unfortunately. They used to. They used to have something similar to what was it called in Disney? It was called the Skyrider, I believe it was. The kind of the chairlift that went across the park. They did have one of those at one point, but it was removed way before my time, at least. But I think this would be a 1 because this is for travel, so I don't think you want too many thrills when you're on a gondola unless it breaks down, because that's a bit of an issue, but it can happen. So let's see here. The next one is going to be Zephyr, which is what Kings Island called. That's probably what I'll name mine as well, just because, you know, I do like naming things like that. I believe this actually is going to be a 3, so the queue line starts over here for this one, so we'll go ahead and place the pole right there. Pull it down like this. Theme Maker's Toolkit. Put the safety sign up. And then this Whip It ride, I believe there's one similar to this in the kids area. Yes, it is. It actually is considered a 2. So this will be, I think, the first 2 in our park. So I think we've hit all categories now, so that's pretty cool. And to be honest with you, I'm thinking about these ratings, and I think these ratings are a little more conservative than, someone who actually has ridden these rides before, or, have ridden rides like this quite a bit. Just because they would not, I would prefer them to over-label them and under-label them. So, it kind of makes sense. So we got one more over here. It's our Stinger, the compact coaster we built on our parking lot over here, or the old parking lot over here. I don't know what to label this one. I'm tempted to label it a 4, but because it has a loop in it, I think it has to be a 5. I mean, they're wrong. This is kind of just like the park labeling system. I guess they can kind of do what they want, but to me, I think this has to be a 5 because of the inversions. I think if it didn't have inversions on it, it may just be a 4. And I think with the inversions, things like that, I think it does kind of. I think it belongs more in, or not 4, 5 5 category. That's what I meant. So I'm like, hold on, that didn't seem right. I think it belongs in the 5 instead of the 4. Especially kind of going with the overcautious thing. If we're a little more cautious with it, I think it'd be a 5. So there we go. All of our rides are now are now labeled. The tram's technically not technically a ride. You would label. Maybe it would, but so yeah, there we go. So let's go ahead and zoom back over. The reason I'm down doing these last 2, the breakdance and the gyrotron, I don't know if that's where they're going to stay for right now. As we fill in this park more, it's more than likely I'll keep them there, but I want to do a little more around here. That's why I wanted to do Thunder Falls to see how that fit in first, and then I want to do some of the bigger. Essentially, what I do with a Planet Coaster like this is I start big, I'll do the big project, and then slowly work my way down. So technically, in this area, I started with the coaster back here, and then I went to Discus, because Discus, while the ride itself is not a huge project, everything around it was. The restroom, the backstage area here, and kind of all the rock work and the fence work around here. It's kind of a big deal. And then I worked, started working my way this way. That's when I did Thunder Falls and did the bumper cars here and things like that. So that's kind of how I do things. So as we get, once you get the bigger project out of the way, you can kind of see where you can fit your smaller projects in. That's kind of how I do things. So let's actually get on to what we were planning on doing for this episode, which is actually this back patio. And I think I want to start with the stage here. So if you weren't here last time, this kind of back patio is actually kind of be a street party. Not like a street party, like a back alley party. That was kind of the idea for it. This is supposed to be an Irish themed pub. This was going to be kind of where you sat at and things like that. It was going to be a beer garden originally, but I kind of like the idea of more of an Irish pub area kind of thing. I don't know if I might even make this partially closed off, or not closed off, roofed. That's what I meant. I don't know exactly though. Probably over the bar I will, which I'll probably do today. Which I have is probably gonna be in this section here, so people can still walk around here and get drinks and things like that. But yeah, the bar will probably end up right in here. But I wanted to make the stage next because the stage I figured would be kind of easy. I don't think I want it quite that big. Let's grab the archer from up front to see how big we can make this. You see here, that's a pretty big stage. I think that'll work. And I don't want to spend too much on this because, in all honesty, it's not going to be a functioning thing unless there is something I'd love to see if I could find somebody who's really good with animatronics, or even try to figure out how to do it all myself. Because I'd love to get like an Irish band back here. And I was thinking there was a band that me and my dad used to love going to watch in Epcot called Off Kilter. They're actually in the Canadian province, so it's a little bit different, but still kind of the same idea. Kind of like Ireland and kind of the Scottish influences there. And I think they were a great band. I have actually one of their CDs, I think, on my desk somewhere. Because I've thought about actually playing their music on this back patio, just kind of as a fun little nod to them. So I was kind of hoping to see if I can find somebody who would make like kilted band members. I think that'd be hilarious to see back here, as well as to be able to use them as a live band back here that would play maybe every maybe do like 4 or 5 shows a day. I kind of think that's what Off Kilter used to do. I could be wrong about that. So there is our stage, like the main platform done. I'm going to come back in here, and I'm actually going to build some stairs because I don't know about you guys, but I cannot jump up there. I mean, I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'7", give or take, and there's no way I could jump up there. But I'd say, especially if they're carrying instruments or something like that, there'd be no way somebody could jump that high unless you were like a super athlete or something like that. So we'll need some stairs. Pretty simple here. As a matter of fact, I don't want these to be a full width of this plank here. Something like that. I'm going to have to eyeball this, unfortunately, but that is just fine here. Something like this, and move it down. There we go, and one more. I think that'll take us pretty much to where we need to be, like that. Then I'll turn one, like so. Just kind of fill in this kind of side section here, just so that it looks a little bit nicer, like it's a full solid staircase. But if you kind of look on the top here, it'll kind of plain, and I do want to jazz it up a little bit. I can get some planks in here, maybe. By the way, I am back drinking tea this week, so if you guys are curious, I'm drinking Southern Breeze Peach Tea. It's pretty good stuff. Just go ahead and close that out there. Oops. Didn't think it would do that, but come on. Alright, hold on. Something's gone a little wonky on this. When I went back into the game, it didn't want to pull anything up, and everything started going crazy. There it goes. I don't know why I did that, but let's go here to planks. And let's see here. Can I color these? I cannot color those, but I believe I can color these. I can. So let's do something like this. A lot brighter than that. Essentially what I want to do is I want to make like kind of like tread plates almost, something like this, and over just a little bit more like that. Line these up just a little bit better, but kind of get the idea here is I want to create like a little bit more of just, you know, give it a little bit more detail than just having, you know, a couple wood planks there. Make it look like that we planned on actually having a stage here with steps. Now, I'm not too worried about the back there because I think this whole back wall is going to be a big facade. Kind of make it look like a kind of make it look like an alleyway. So I don't know how I'm going to do that quite yet. So I'll leave it open for now. Probably not forever, but that's okay. Let's get this last step in there. Something like that. And we will need to move this. Well, you know what? We can actually move this whole case back. Oh, this is not going to be fun, is it? Do something like this. And like that. Actually, as a matter of fact, we can actually move this a little bit more in and then pull it back out this way. Because unfortunately, with some of the axis, you know, when you have a lot of pieces like that, sometimes it goes a little wonky. But if you can figure out how to work with it, it's still great. Alright, let's get this one level. Come on, there we go. Now we need some scaffolding. I don't think that's what it's called, actually. Not Theme Maker's Toolkits, in the Studios pack, they actually brought together a lot of stuff like this that we'll probably use on this. Let's see here. I'll probably have stuff like this that's kind of in the back here. Or I might just have them like down on the side because, you know, we'll need stuff that for some reason something does go wrong. We can, you know, have it just right there. You know, a microphone breaks or something like that. We can just throw one of those, or we can get it out of here or something like that. Kind of the idea, I guess. Let's see here. I'm looking for something specific, which we'll use a spotlights for a couple of these. But not right now because I need to actually build up the stage a little bit more before we put stuff like that on there. And unfortunately, I didn't see what I wanted to see, which is a bit of an issue. Let's go over to building. They might be in building. Let's say hopefully they're in building, because if not, we bit of an issue then. But let's see your content pack. Go to studios. See what we got here. Aha, this is what I'm looking for. It's actually just scaffolding, which is, well, it's kind of this, you know, stage scaffolding, which is nice because then we can actually use it for what it is intended for. Do something like this. That will probably be big enough. Maybe a little shorter there. Drag this out to the other side here. The next thing we want to do is actually add a top to this. This is something like that. And like that. Now we need to add these across the top here. Oh, that might be perfect. I mean, fair enough, we did use like the 8-meter post to make the front section there, but look at that. It looks pretty nice. Alrighty, what else do they include in here? Let's do this floodlights. They actually do have spotlights in this one, so I have to use some of those. Those have animated lights, which we technically could use for something like this. I mean, usually shows do have, you know, specialty lights like that. I think we'll... Do we do something like that, or do we move it up just to about here? So essentially the band would perform here, kind of in front here. We'd have lights, you know, across here. Speakers hanging in from here. I think that'll look pretty good. It's not a huge stage, I'll be honest with you, but it is a stage nonetheless. Alrighty, so we got that. Let's go back to scenery, because I think that's where we're going to need the rest of our stuff from. Let's see here. Scenery. First thing I want to do, though, is speakers. There we go. I forgot I actually do have some from Theme Maker's Toolkit, which is rather nice. Don't know which ones I want to use, though. Now, those are some speakers. Not quite what I'm looking for, though. Although these, if you put those on poles, I think that would look pretty good. No, you know what? Now, I'm going to admit here, I am not an audio engineer. I don't claim to be one. So if I mess this up, you know, don't lampoon me too hard, because this is literally just me kind of throwing this together from experience. Kind of what I've seen in live music like this. Something like, they always do like these really, you know, big fanned speakers. It's like, it probably does help with like kind of getting sound out to where it needs to go, or out to the audience. But there's always these huge curves of speakers, I remember. So we do something like this. We need to find a way to support them, though. Something like that, I think, will work. And then if I think we scoot them and kind of line them in the middle there. There we go, like that. And I think we also do, we kind of turn the corner with both of them and have speakers on the side, just so that, because kind of this is kind of a 200, or hold on, like 180 degree stage, because you can see, you know, right through everything. So kind of the idea. So, you know, let's see here. Do that. Scroll over like that. Let's move it back just a little bit there. I'll line this up a little bit better on this axis. There we go. I know we're going to need some subwoofers, technically, but let's see if we do something like this. I don't want to take away too much from the space that the actual band would have. I wonder if we put like that there would be okay. I know that's kind of right in front of the speakers. You're kind of blocking it a little bit, but it would help muffle the sound a little bit, because I get a feeling if it's anything like actual Off Kilter, those guys are very loud, which is, they're awesome because, you know, that, but it can get a little much. I'm going to do something a little, just kind of, let's see if I can set these up here. I'm going to actually set up just some smaller speakers on this side, like that. Rotate this up. It really just hit people with the sound here. That's kind of the idea. I don't think, can I do it on this side? Would be kind of interesting if I can. Something like that. I think that's enough speakers. Oh, if I get out of the building here, I think that's going to be enough speakers. If not, maybe a little too much, but you know, we'll see. So we got that now. That looks pretty good. At least I think it does. I'm going to delete the archer because I think we got the scaling pretty much spot on. Do we have a mic or something like a mic stand maybe? See what we got. We do have a boom mic. How big is the mic? It's a little big. Look, let me look here, because that might not be what we can use. Let's see here, because I mean, if you look, it's kind of big compared to a person, so let's not use that. I'm gonna find a few things. You know what? Let me see if I can find maybe a few instruments, maybe. Real quick on the workshop while I'm thinking about it to see if we can just, put like the drum kit up here, stuff like that. So let's put up a drum. They do have quite a few drum kits. Looks like a lot of them are art shapes. Hold on here. Look here. There's one that I see that looks pretty interesting. That looks like a lot of these, which is awesome to see. Oh, my ear's starting to itch. Are art shapes, which, number one, how people do stuff like this is, number one, it's amazing to see. But it's like, I don't know how people have the patience sometimes to do stuff like this. Still pretty neat, though. And I think... come on. You know what? I'll probably use something like this. Found one. I think that'll work. Go ahead and subscribe to that one. It should hopefully load in the game so that we'll have it. Let's see if they have any guitar. Oh, I spelled guitar wrong. Alrighty, they do have a few out here. I'm gonna just. It looks like they're Theme Maker's Toolkit items, but that is just fine with me. Let's see here. I'm looking through some other things. What else were there? So I've got a bass guitar and I've got an electric guitar, which works. I think I have. Let's see. Like what else? I mean, let's see if I can find a microphone stand real quick too. Looks like they might. Hopefully, this won't be too out of scale. That's what I'm kind of worried about, is just everything being out of scale. But things are hopefully downloaded, or they're still being downloaded. Hopefully, this won't take too much longer. If it is, because the game looks like it's. Oh boy, that's not gonna work. Come on, computer. There it goes. So I recently updated my graphics card, so I found a few little issues with it, so that might be having some issues. Let's see if I can find the... Oh, I misspelled guitar once again. Hopefully these aren't too big. No, look at that. Nice Gibson. I think it's what that one is. So it says it's a Gibson. I'm not like... I don't know guitars that well. I mean, I know like Gibson and Fender. That's probably about it. And then, so we can go something like that. I think it looks really nice, though. I think, for what we're going to use it for, I think it's going to work just fine there. And then we'll place another one over here for the bass. Fortunately, though, I looked on the Theme Maker's Toolkits, and honestly, I just looked at, I just looked at, oh shoot, what did I look at? I just looked at the workshop, no bagpipes, unfortunately, so we'll have to maybe look at something for those. let's go ahead and get our drum kit out. Hopefully it's under blueprints. Let's see, DR. There they are. I think this actually might work pretty well. And they say they're in scale, but you know, it's kind of hit or miss on whether they are or not. I think these look actually pretty good. You know what? Let me go. Oh shoot! I didn't think those were. Let's go ahead and actually add just a little bit of a platform for this to sit on, because usually bands have some sort of, yeah, they have a platform for their drums, which kind of makes sense. You know, they can see the drummer a little bit better. Also want to put, it's a sound dampening kind of thing around it. I noticed they do this a lot in bands like this, or just like in general. Why? I have no idea, but they do. It looks like they encase their drummer in bulletproof glass because somebody's taking pot shots at them, but I don't know. We'll see here, though. I can do something like this and like this. I think I can put the drum kit on top of here still. I'll have plenty of room. Perfect. Something like that. I still might need to move this back a little bit, but do something like maybe there. This will also help hide some of the pieces that they used for the drum kit itself. Get the planks out. Oh, let's plant. Let's do plank. I think we can use some of this plank maybe. Maybe a little bit longer one. Let's see here. We can totally use this one. Let's do that. Rotate it up. Rotate this over like that. Keep on going this way. And I think that's, you know, that's a small enough step that the drummer could just step up onto it. I don't think we really need a separate staircase for him, so. I think we move this back, though, to help kind of surround everything like that. We'll need to add a little bit more onto the back here. Like that. I think that's going to be our drum kind of set up there. Slide this back just a little bit, just so we have a little bit more room up front, but I think that'll be plenty of room. Hopefully they won't do too much jumping around, because if not, they will fall off the stage, and that will not be a good thing. It'd be hilarious, don't get me wrong, because, I don't know, I've seen, you see, like, it's usually the amateur, like, bands that they're going out there, and all of a sudden they just fall off the stage. It's funny, but it probably hurts a lot. Especially on this, it'd be right onto kind of cobblestone patio, which would not be ideal. One too many escape buttons, but yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and add in our soundproofing for the drums. So I'm actually going to use glass for this. Technically, this would be kind of a, I'm trying to think of what they would use. It's kind of like a, shoot, what would it be? I'm trying to think of the name. There's a, like a polystyrene maybe, kind of thing, and that's what they would probably use. Kind of have one that's a little more sound dampening than normal. So something like this, nothing too crazy. But I think there's a couple Theme Maker's Toolkit items I can use. There's like little thin bars that I think will work out pretty well here. Now, which ones I need to use, it's a good question. But I think those actually might be what I want. So, score. But I think those are actually a little bit taller. But I think these are actually the same height. Have the angle snap here because I keep forgetting that. There we go. I think that'll work out just fine. We'll probably do 2 of them just so I can do a thing across the top here. And I'll just kind of show you what I mean. Come a little short on that one, but we'll do something like that and just be fine there. Then this top one, I do want to move down just a little bit so that they don't... oh, that's not the one I wanted. This... There we go, that's the one I want. And then move this down just a bit. And then multi-select that and that one. Not that one. Let's duplicate this over. Make our panes of glass here. Dang it. I thought I grabbed or I thought I copied them. I guess I didn't. Copy and duplicate, please. Or whatever it is. Like that. And then... This is why you put things in buildings, or into groups, because sometimes if you especially want to do copy stuff like this, it's a lot harder to do so. You know what? I bet I can make this look a little bit better. Because technically, I mean, I guess they wouldn't really have one right, like a big thing right in front of the drummer, but like that. Just have a smaller one on either side here, so that just so that they can make it look a little bit nicer. I think that'll look... There's a little bit of a line there, but whatever. I mean, I guess I could fix that, actually. Come to think about it, I can. I think. Let's see, there's there a 2x2? Yeah, I think this is what I'm looking for. Yes, it is. Cool. So slide this into place. Like so. Scroll that to the top there. And there we go. We do need to have some supports on the side here, just because even if they're screwed into that platform, this would still be rather unstable. Just, you know, just standing by itself. So let's make it a 30-degree angle here. So that seems like a good angle. I mean, don't get me wrong. They would have probably something that would secure this. You know, they would know exactly what angle to put a support, but. For playing a coaster, you know, it doesn't really matter, so do something like that. And let's scroll this over to here. There we go. And I think that'll be just fine. I don't think we'll need anything else for that. But I think that's a good looking stage, though. I mean, we got the drums in there and got the guitars on the side. I do want to put there's a few crates, smaller crates over here, just to make it look like there might be equipment. If there's things like, shoot, what would be over there? Things like extra microphones or cables. If they needed something, they can just pop over here and grab it real quick. So, I don't know. It's just kind of an idea. Like that. Nothing crazy, but I think I actually did this backwards, didn't I? Maybe not. I don't know. Like that. That'll work. I think that's our stage. Now I do want to add just a bit of a covering here, just to help out just a little bit. If I can find, there's like a cloth thing. We use them for, I think, yeah, we use them over here. This is kind of what I'm looking for. Let's see if I can figure out. They're called shade sails. Say that 10 times fast. I can't. So let's look at that really quick. I'll get my hair off here. Shade. Yeah, it's not going to be in there, is it? Nope, it's not. I know it's in the Theme Maker's Toolkit, but for some reason it just defaulted back to building, because I think when we hit building it was it's like, hey, we can get a building here. So let's go to this, turn this up like this. Let's see. The hard part is trying to find one that's going to fit here. They really don't have. We could do something like that. I think what I could do, actually, can I hang it? If I hang it though, it's kind of low. You know what? What if I did something above it, like this, and then took the 4 quarters here, and uh-oh, I guess something's wrong here. I am offline. That's not good. Hold on here. Give me 1 second, guys, because for some reason my phone is saying I am offline. I don't know if I am or not. Kind of in the confusing state of whether... Right now, this is a Schrodinger stream where I am and I'm not online. Hold on. That's what I'm showing right now. So, all right, well, I don't know if my phone decided to disconnect me or what, but looks like we're still good there. Yeah, I think that'll work as a sun shader. I think that'll look. I think that'll work for what we're doing here. That, and also, like, we don't want to keep the band kind of cool while they're playing, so that will work out. That looks pretty good myself. So, what do we do now? Well, I think we need to work on the bar. So yeah, I think that'll work. I think the next thing we need to work on is our bar, though. If we get any more ideas, we can always, work on them a little, or add them later. But yeah, so far I think it looks pretty nice. So let's work on the bar here. Now, I did leave a lot of room over here for good reason, because I got a feeling I'm going to have to barricade a lot of this off, and we probably have to remove that trash can, so let's go ahead and do that. I was going to do some simple... Actually, I have an idea. We're using wood a lot, which, fair enough, it's a pretty common material. But what I want to do is I have an idea to use... If we use the dark, kind of the same kind of beams that we did for the last, kind of the stage and everything, if we do something like this, I'll rotate it, just kind of flat here. Scroll this over, scroll it about halfway down. Now, I think if we try to use some of this paneling here, I think we'll use maybe, nope, that's a little small. If you do something like this, rotate it, and rotate it like this, rotate it like so. I'm going to go ahead and grab I don't know what brown color we use for up here. I like this color. It's a nice kind of an older wood color. And I think when I kind of bring those colors to the back of the bar here, and also want to add a little more yellow in here, because we don't have a lot of yellow. And I think it looks pretty good. And let's see here. If I add something like that. So I got both of those now. So let's walk back this way. Let's add this to a group because we've already learned our lesson from that. Let's go ahead and we'll probably just make both of these. We can't do it at the same time though, unfortunately. That brown. And this brown here. So we can keep kind of that same level there of kind of brown. We go and keep, you know, similar. I might have to redo the stage with the same paints, but that's okay. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get our archer back here because we will need to figure out how tall this is. So what I'm going to kind of do a hybrid of a hybrid bar. So part of it will just be like it'll have like 2 or 3 registers that you can walk up and order a drink. But the other part you'll actually it'll actually have like stools stuff like that you can sit down at. And this is kind of what we did at Kings Island. There's at their beer garden behind Hank's Burrito Shack, or now it's called Hank's Mexican Grill. They did this, and for the most part, it worked. There were some parts that it didn't, and you know, kind of gotta take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But yeah, I think this will be a pretty good, you know, size bar. And then also you can go inside and, if you wanted to, and grab drinks too. So I think that'll work pretty well. Let's see here. Let's see, the wood trim mid. I want to see, I'm going to look at something here. Oh, it does. All right, so here's what I do. Right underneath the bar, I'm actually going to place this kind of gold band around it. I think that'll look pretty nice. Alrighty, let's see here. How do I want to do this? I think I'll have to do planks to the top. I think that's when I have to do it, because I need a little more like depth. Oh, I can't spell plank now. Something like this. So also make sure it's the right color. There we go. Rotate this around and up. I'll probably only do 2 on the side. I'll probably do 3 around the front side of this. Just, you know, just add a little more counter space. I think I'll do something like this. That's how far that bar's going to go out. So let's add in these 2 pieces really quick. That'll work out, right? Because honestly, when I was doing this, kind of, you know, when I came up with the, when I was looking at photos, a lot of this is just wood, but I kind of like having the gold there, and you know, I didn't know if I was going to at first. It's grown on me a lot since I started doing this. Let's see here, 1. Come on, there we go. Oh, come on. Go 1, 2, and 3. Now that should be a big enough serving counter for our bar. And let's go ahead and just copy this down. So we're going to make our this end will be our register area, like this end. This end will actually be our kind of our actual bar area. So let's do something like. Actually shrink it a little bit. We're not losing as much as I thought we would, so we'll do something like that. And then we'll move all these planks down this way. that. I think I'll try to do the same on, like, the same kind of idea that we kind of did the overlapping on this side. Do it on the other side too. Add a few more planks on this end. Like so. There we go. I know we'll have to get the people out of there. We'll just have to put barriers there eventually. But I think for now we'll be okay. So let's go ahead and go to the Theme Maker's Toolkit, because I want to add, there's a register here I want to add. There's also some beer taps that I think that'll work out pretty well here. We actually have bottled beer here, which I will probably put some in there. Although when I worked there, I didn't work the bar at all, but because funny enough, I was actually not old enough to. You had to be at least 21 to be a bartender. I was not old enough. I mean, when I worked at Hank's, I was 17, 18. So actually, I turned my 18th birthday. I'm pretty sure I was actually at work. So yeah, I mean, fair enough. Let's see here. I don't think that's the one I'm thinking of. We do want a drink dispenser though, because even though this is technically a bar, they did also serve like just soft drinks back here, because I mean they can use those as mixers. So let's see here. Don't see what I'm looking for, which is not a. Hold on here. Where did I get this from? Well, it looks like I already have a microphone stand. I just didn't know it. Look at that. All right. Let's put these up here because I will forget I have these. There we go. That's even better now. All right. Back to looking at beer taps. Don't see them, which is a little unsettling because I'm pretty sure I had it was like a rack of them. If not, I can make my own. Wouldn't be a huge fan of doing it, but I swear I had stuff like that. Also, something else I want to do is I actually want to add in some counter space behind here. A lot of times people don't, if you've never been behind a bar or anything like that, they usually have this. It looks like one of these silver tables. Usually they store like ice or something like that into it. Maybe something like this might work a little bit better. We'll see. Yeah, I think that would look, because it's going to have the drawers in it. We'll see what that one looks like. That one might look a little bit better. Because it looks like it actually they can store things like cups and in there. But ooh, that's going to stick out quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to put that one there. I might actually put these behind here, though. That's not what I wanted to do. Can I just align that? I can. Let's do something like this. Which I wanted this one. Whichever one's closed. Which one's closed? Hold on. Well, not really, but alright. Well, everything's just falling apart. And nothing's working. Angle snap, please. And then rotate this up like so. 180 it. And place it back down here. Because they would have, some storage back here, but I might just make my own, because that is a little bit larger than I'd like to see it. I swear that I had downloaded, like, I don't know if it was, I thought it was beer taps, but I could be wrong. Let me just scroll through here one more time. If not, I want to go steal the ones from the pizza place, because that one worked pretty well. Oh, those worked pretty well. And they're actually made from shapes in games, so it's pretty good. Let's go ahead and put the cash register out here. I think, is this the one I'm thinking of? No, it is not. And there's a beer machine there. I'm not a huge fan of it, though. because it just looks a little boxy for me. But maybe that's just me. Aha, this is what I'm looking for. So I'm actually going to add 3 of them. So put 1 here, leave a space, and then we'll put 1 here. The third one I'm actually going to put back on here. That would be for anybody working on the bar here. So it'd be kind of the third person. That's how, you know, it's kind of how we did it as well. So it's a little easier to do. We can put a couple of bottles up here. Looks like they're selling them. They look pretty nice. And we can even put people back here because we're actually building this on a path. So that'll work out pretty good. So I think though we're going to go over here. It's actually over this way. Now, this I didn't show on camera, but I actually did make this. This is actually, or what, did I make this one or not? I can't remember. I know I had gotten an idea for something like this from, I had built one in another one of my parks. If you don't want, I'm going to just duplicate this whole thing. I got this idea from either, I want to say maybe Bro Nation, or someone on Bro Nation or something like that. You know, did something like this, and I thought that was pretty neat. And so I'm like, cool, I'll do that. I don't remember if I actually used one of this, because I don't think it was from, it might have been from Planet, or not Planet, it might have been from, what, Jaunty Sparrow's Park. I'm trying to think what his name is. It is Pinewood Hills. I don't know if it's from there or not, because I've used a few pieces from there, which wouldn't surprise me if I did. But there is what I need. So, and I could be wrong. I could be that this is from like a Bro Nation thing. If I didn't make this, you know, whoever made it, they're awesome. Because, but you know, I don't remember. It's been a while since I've done something like this. So do something like that. Like that. I'll do 2 right next to each other, so it looks like there's a lot of taps. I don't remember how many we had at Kings Island, to be honest with you. But I know we had quite a few of them. That might be a bit much, but, you know. We'll do like this, and then we'll do... For some reason, they always have this one, like, all the way down here for some reason. Why? I have no idea. Because I don't think it ever worked. Or from what I remember, it just never worked. We'll do something like that. And then, yeah, I think that it's a good size. I think I'm gonna move this register down a little bit. Ooh, that's an issue. That it's sticking through there. I don't want it to happen like that. I'll move this one down just a little bit more. So let's fix this real quick. Because that's something I don't want poking through. I'll do that real quick. Oh, actually, I'm going to redo that last one. Go. Everything. I don't know if it's just me or I don't know if it's just me being impatient and not waiting. But, yeah, I don't know. There we go. Well, there's 8. I'm being told there was 10 by my father, who helped back there quite a bit. So there we go. I think 8 will work. I mean, that's 12 in total with the 4 down here. So yeah, there we go. That will work. It looks pretty good. So I think before we do anything else, let's go ahead and put the barriers up so that we know where people will and won't walk. And this, I think, it will help. So, what are they called? let's get these along this side here. Rotate that up. Now this doesn't have to be like perfectly up and down, but that's okay. And then I do want to move it into the counters so that they have the most walking room that they possibly can have. And then on this end, something like that. Now we want to just let the game play just a little bit. Looks like people are starting to go around now, which is good to see. Anything like that. There we go. Pause the game again. So there is that. The next thing I want to do is start working on the back counter here. Essentially, this will just be for storage and things like that. Nothing too crazy. But I also want to put another register back here just for the person manning the kind of the regular bar so that they can still input drink orders and, well, input like sales and things like that. Let's see here. Something like that. And this looks a little odd right this second, but I have an idea a little bit for it. If I do something like this, kind of give it a little bit more of a, it looks like it has like a bit of a base to it, kind of matching the rest of it. And then let's rotate this around. I'm actually going to make it just a little bit lower as well. They always, you know, it might look kind of odd, but this was like a separate thing from the rest of the bar, if I remember correctly. It's been a couple of years since I've actually walked back there and seen this place. So do something like that, and then actually move this back just a little bit so I have like a little bit of overhanging counter. I actually want to move. You know what? I might put a door here to make it look like there is a separate place there. And where this door would go, it'd probably go back to a kitchen or something like that, probably, or even like a small office. Let's put the door in real quick. Something like this. Oop. Nothing fancy, but it serves its purpose. So what that means is we will need to put... Ooh. You know what, though? Come to think about it. We could actually completely surround the bar off and make this the only way into or out of it. You know what? Let's do this, actually. I find this actually is a little bit better way to actually kind of represent a door. Is actually just rotating it like that. Might be a little hard to get into, but yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to get out of. But yeah, something like that. I think that'll, you know, and then we can actually use this whole area as like we put stools on the outside here and have our two lines here. I think that'll work. So that being said, let's go ahead and finish up the actual outside of the bar here. Rotate this around. Something like that. And then we'll use one of these. Finish it off. How far back is okay? So it's not too that bad offset. Like this and like this. Like so. There we go. You know what? We'll actually add a third plank over here as well, just because if people are going to be sitting over here, you'll probably want a little bit more room for things like food and drinks. So I think that'll work out just fine. So far, this bar is shaping up actually pretty well. From what little knowledge I have of bars, because I don't drink, and for what I did spend some time on this back area here, but mostly it was serving food, so I don't see why it'd be a big you know what I mean. So it's like I somewhat know this, but Anywho, we got the back counter there. We'll add the sides room real quick. Let's see here. Let's do planks. And we'll turn them a different direction here. We'll actually make them sideways, so it doesn't look like they're the, hopefully they're not the same, hopefully they won't look like the same thing as the top boards there. So, and then we need to put our another register in the very back here. I actually probably move it on this end just so that it's far enough away from the other ones that they wouldn't really get in the way, but close enough to where if somebody is working down here, they can just kind of pop back there and have all this. And you still have all their open counter space. I think that works out pretty well. Okay, so that's kind of we have our basic layout of our bar now. We will need some sort of refrigerator, stuff like that. I'm trying to stretch out here just a little bit. So some things I need to add still are we need some tip jars, because that's an important thing for bartenders. Let's see here. Do I have anything in here that would work? That's a little too big for a refrigerator, what we're looking for here. That's a little too big. Just kind of hoping I could actually scale some of this down just a little bit, just to use. That's like a perfect size for a refrigerator, but I think it's supposed to be an ice machine. But I don't see why we couldn't, like, if we were a little cheeky and slid that in there. I mean, fair enough, it doesn't have like a glass front, so you'd have no idea what's in there, but and then I think that we can kind of say that's going to be our cooler for our mixers, or because it's kind of what we actually had, like a small refrigerator. It had like orange juice and apple juice and like small bottles of wine for some reason. I have no idea why, but they did. I guess it kind of makes sense. Let's see here. I stand corrected. I found our refrigerator. You know what? We'll put it on the counter over here. Because why not? Except, honestly, that almost looks exactly like the one we had. But ours was a floor model, so it was on a stand. That's like almost perfect. Which is, that's kind of funny. I was giving up on it, but, happens sometimes. Aha. This is actually what I was thinking of earlier. It's not the greatest one in the world, I'll be honest with you. But they actually had, it actually doesn't look good. I'm not going to use it. Let's see here. I wonder if we could do something like, aha, hold on here. if we do something like this, slid this down a little bit, that could very well be our ice machine-ish. So essentially they had just a big open bucket like that they would just store a bunch of ice in, and once they needed it, they would just, you know, scoop out ice for drinks and things like that. So there's a couple things that I keep getting messages from my dad, because he's like, oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. That's great. I don't know. It's like there's things like a pretzel machine. I have no idea how I would do that. Although it's a really neat idea. We should use one. But he's bringing up a few more ideas that I can probably either make or use. So let's actually bring... You know, I'll leave these there. So that'll be our ice machines. There actually is... Hold on. Go over here real quick. It's confectionery jelly drops is what I'm looking for. I believe that's going to be in scenery. Jelly drops. Here's what I'm looking for. And you might be wondering what in the world I'm doing with this, but if I had just a little bit of blue... Okay. I'm going to fill our ice machines with ice. Maybe there's something a little bit better than this, but, you know, hold on. Let me see if I can even do this at first. Not align this to surface, and then something like that. Even the white kind of adds into this. Now, fair enough, I don't think this whole machine would not be filled with this much ice, probably. Something like this. This wasn't nearly this big. I mean, it held a decent amount of ice, but I just don't think it would hold this much ice. If I had to guess, I could be totally wrong about this, but it would probably hold. If you know those big bags of ice you get from like Kroger's or Walmart or something like that, it would probably hold one of those. How much more, I'm not really sure, but, you know, probably somewhere in that ballpark, if I had to guess. I know we didn't carry bags of ice, we used to carry buckets of ice. And those buckets, I think each held 2 or 3 gallons, something like that. It wasn't a huge amount, and I used to have to carry them quite a bit, because they were not light, I'll be honest with you. Oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Let's kind of finesse this in there just a little bit better. That looks better. I'll have to move these. Oh, hold on. Is it really part of that group now? I didn't think it was. Alright, hold on. Edit the group. I want these last 2 over here. I want the last 2 gumdrops on this side here. You don't think they're actually part of that group. I think they're just embedded in that thing, and it doesn't want to... Hold on here. Well, it's got one of them now. That's better. I think I can move it from here. Yeah, there we go. And there we go. We actually have some ice in our ice machines now. Hell, and now they're poking out this side still. Well, you know what? That's okay. I think that'll work. Now, I think the next thing I want to do is some stools, I think. I want to do stools next. Or if I have any Theme Maker's Toolkit stools. I don't believe I did, so let me look here, though. I do not. I can probably easily create one, though. It's not like it's a hard thing to do. And let's see here. I think what I can do is I'm going to create a extra small, yeah. So this will work for the base of it. Do something like that. And then let's do a road pole. I think that's the only thing that's going to work for this one, but I think if I do the road and this one, and then actually I want to turn it upside down because I think it's going to work out the best here. And then move this up. And then, if I get back to art shapes here, it's not what I'm looking for here. We go back to art shapes. If I go to the extra small circle again, as a matter of fact, I can probably just duplicate this, can I? Yeah, I can probably just duplicate that up. And then, so there's part of our stool. We'll go ahead and just make this one group like that. Edit this group, and then I want to add in just kind of a cushion, I guess. Probably the easiest way to say that. Rounded shapes here. See what we got. This is what I want to use, and we'll use a nice like red, kind of maybe a lighter red. Maybe it's faded just a little bit. Line to surface, please. Slide this till we can't see any red on the outside, but we have our little cushion on top. Hold on here. Let's see if I do this. Do that. See if I can... Well, not really. That didn't really help at all. Alright, well, that's okay. It may just not be 100% perfect, but it'll be close. That's close enough, I think. I think that'll be good for our little bar here. Dang it, they stick to the front too. I didn't notice that either. Alright, so let's just kind of copy this all the way down here. Actually rotate this so they're in line with the bar. So I can just slide them down like that. And like this. Something like that. Do you think when we put one more on this side and then we turn the corner? You know what? No, that looks a little bit odd. So we'll just do something like this. Put one on this corner here on this side. And they'll probably put 2 or 3 on this side. Something like that. And like that. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to fix this really quick because it's going to drive me crazy until I do. That's probably that. Oh. There we go. There's that fixed. Well, let's go ahead. We can probably go ahead and remove the archer, to be honest with you, because he's getting in the way a little bit of this ice. But go. Let's get rid of him now. We can finally move these over into place. Move him like that first, and then in. See, all these were sticking out the side here, so we'll go ahead and just fix these. Like that, and one more. I think there's a couple up front we need to fix. Oh, just one now, because I think we move the other two far enough back that we'll be okay. I think that'll fix that. That looks actually a lot nicer now. Alrighty, so next thing we need is... I'd like to try to find a bucket of some sort, because we need tip jars as kind of the big thing here. So if we can find... What, do I have a jar? Not really. I think this is going to be a massive sign. Yeah, a little big for a tip jar. Don't get me wrong, the bartenders probably love a jar that big and have it filled, but probably not going to work for what we're going to use it for. Same with that. Alright, well, let's overlook a building as well and see if maybe there's something over there. Probably not, but you know what? I wonder. There is a chimney piece, if I'm not mistaken, that might work. And I think we've actually used the chimneys before. Let me see here so I can find it really quick. If I can just type in chimney. Maybe this one? Maybe I think that's going to be a little too big on that one. Same with that one. Sometimes you got to get a little creative in Planko on how you do things. But what about something like that? Not quite what I was thinking, but I don't see why that wouldn't work. Always keep your tip jar in sight, so we'll put them. Ooh. See, that's the one thing about making a thin bar like this, is that hiding stuff's a lot harder. We'll do something like that and like that, and we'll just not go behind the bar. It seems like pretty simple. But I think that'll work. If we find something else, we can always add it in later and change them out. But yeah, I think so far, I think that's pretty good. Something that we did have that I'm going to try to attempt to make now is margarita machines. They were actually really popular when they made them at Kings Island. So let's see if I can try to. This isn't going to be exactly great because number one, I don't do this too often. I do stuff like this, but I think if I remember them correctly, they're pretty boxy machines. So you know, I can kind of get away with a few things on here. So let me do this. And we'll just kind of pull this machine out like this. Rotate this down. They were kind of tall though, so. But if I remember correctly, they were pretty much just a box like this. They were kind of thin and tall, if I remember. And then we'll build this up just a little bit more. And we'll make it just a kind of a slope back, because, you know, just kind of a boxy machine does not really doesn't really make it interesting. If we can do something like this, though, make it just a little bit different. And then I want to add something on the top here to kind of show. I can use something like this. Hold on. It's not what I'm looking for. I need just a black top here. So essentially what this would do is that, I mean, kind of in my mind, if I remember these correctly, you can actually add the margarita mix into the back here. and then the machine would actually churn it, kind of, and then would actually make the margarita inside the machine. You pour all your stuff in here, and then essentially this machine just froze it, if I remember correctly. So there's that. Here's kind of the other thing, though. There was a big glass front to them. I remember that. That might work. Let's actually... Well, I think green was, like, lime was, like, the most popular one, so... We can leave it that color. I wonder if we can actually do something like this. And then... Essentially what I'm going to do is just make this a little bit wider so that... that's not what I want to do. I want to take all this, add this into a shape. Let's do that. Maybe I need to learn how to make more like 3D items so I can actually, like on Blender, so that maybe I can actually make stuff like this in there. So it looks a little bit nicer. I mean, some of the stuff that you can do with art shapes, though, are incredible. I'm not one of those people. I'll be honest with you. Let's see here. If I can just now slide this over to there. So there, now you have somewhere to load it, and then you have this, you know, thing up front here, and I'm going to make it just a small handle. This is what I'm going to use, because this is the same thing I use for the beer taps. Slide that in there. I actually want to do it the other way. I'll rotate this upward. Slide this in there. Like that, and then I'm going to rotate this down. Try like a little nozzle here. Like that. And that's how you get your margarita out of it, at least. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. I think I accidentally... Yeah, I didn't add these into a group, I don't think. Maybe I did, I don't know. It was just acting kind of strange on me. Let's not do that. Let's slide those over like that. And that's kind of our basic margarita machine. It's not ideal, but I think it'll work. And then I need a pipe. Like so if you a lot of people use let's see if I can find this. There's a snowman's pipe that they use quite a bit. That's probably over here in scenery if I had to guess. Let's see if I can go over here and all go to pipe. So I'm looking for here. If you notice, even on the drum kit, they use this quite a bit, and this is kind of a popular thing to do because it's a very thin piece that you can use for like drum leg, you know, leg for the drums and stuff like that. I'm going to use them here as a kind of a foot for the margarita machine. So this sets up a little bit from the counter, like this. Oop, can't really do. Well, I can actually turn that down just a little bit like that, and then copy these. Rotate them 180 degrees and move them just in a little bit. Something like this and like that. That's an issue. Don't want to have that poking out like that. Forgot this actually is a little bit lower because of the slope back, but that's okay. So there is kind of the basic margarita machine. It's not ideal. It's not like perfect, you know, but it'll serve its purpose. I'll probably work on that a little bit more, you know, maybe off stream to kind of get an idea of how all that works. But I do want to put at least 2 back here. Because that's what we had, you know, when I was working with, we had, I think it was lime and was it raspberry, the other one. It was something like a purplish or pink color. So that's what we'll kind of do. That's not enough. You know what? No, it was like a cherry. So we'll do something like that, and I think that works. All right, so we've got a drink cooler. We've got our margarita machines. We've got our beer taps. We can use some cups. Let's go over here. We don't have like beer cups, well, which, funny enough, there is a. I guess I don't know if it's a rule or not, but can't serve alcohol in like Coke cups. I'm pretty sure that's. I don't know if that's a state law. It probably is, but I don't think Coke likes having alcohol served in their cups. So, but they also serve like just normal drinks back here too. Let's see here. If I can figure out where I actually have a Coke cup that. Let's see if I can just do this. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Now, while these are full, I can actually do. You know what? I'm just gonna text from my dad again, like the 50th text he's made in the past 20 minutes. We'll do a third one because they said they actually had 3 flavors, so we'll do something like that. And it was peach, I believe he said, so we'll do something like that. And that'll work out pretty good. And then let's go back to the Coke cups. Now, I would say even on the bar though, you a lot of times they actually came for like refills on souvenir cups, which we'll put a few back here, just because. It seems like every place that you could serve a drink, they would serve souvenir cups, and that's no joke. I mean, they, even if it was just like a little cart that they would just serve like fountain drinks off of, they would have a million souvenir cups out there just so that people would sell them or buy them. And it may make some sense, but come on, game. I'm not gonna put a whole lot of these out here, because I don't want the game just to freak out on me, but it's just in the lighting, they look a little odd. But alright, that kind of gives you an idea. I don't have any clear cups. I might have to look for some of those. But there is that. I'm trying to remember what else we could do. We really need to put some storage, like actual like handles. Looks like there's kind of well, I'll probably do that a little later. I think this is kind of the basics of what our bar kind of looks like. I would say so. What I want to do, guys, though, I'm going to take just a quick break and use the restroom really quick, guys. So when I come back, we'll probably put the roof on this place and kind of start buttoning up the bar a little bit. So yeah, guys, it'll probably just be like a 2 or 3 minute break. So if you guys need to take a break as well, be a good time to do so, and I will be right back, guys. Alright, everybody, I am back. Let me grab a drink really quick while thinking about this still. That's better. Get back in the game here before I forget to, because I have done that many of times before. So, what else do we need back here? Well, we could actually use some bottles, like harder alcohol, like vodka or something like that. So I think what we can do, though, head over here to scenery and go to what are they called? Ornaments. Or they actually, this is a British, isn't it? It's a British game, so they call them baubles. Yeah, there they are. This is what I'm looking for. And I think this is doing all kinds of crazy things now. I think if I do this, I get something like this, because something like this can actually look like they're just like a crazy bottle of alcohol. Well, it's the same on both sides here. So something like this, and just kind of set it back here. We might make a shelf. That's what I'm thinking here. I'll leave that one green, why not? And then we can kind of just sink this one in and make it look like, whatever we want to. We even, we can actually make something like this and then make the rest of this look kind of clear. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go, and then we'll make the rest of this white. This looks pretty good so far, and we'll do like another bottle of that. Why not? And then what other ones could we use? It's a little large on that one. Oh, that looks pretty nice. We can do something like that. We'll make this one purple, maybe like a dark gold, maybe. I don't know. I don't know alcohols very well. I mean, I know some like the real popular ones, but maybe if I do this one and maybe black. I don't know alcohol that well. There we go. There's some harder alcohols, which really doesn't leave much counter space. Which, I mean, technically we're saving space that way, but you still there's a line between not having the proper amount of space to create drinks and things like that, and not having enough space. So let's do something like this, just to put more bottles across there. Why not? Is there any like actual bottles in the game? Not really. I mean, there's a drink display here, which is, you can really clearly tell it's, soda. But what if we did something like this and put these in here like they were either mixers or juices, things like that? That might work out pretty well. And trust me, if you've ever worked in an amusement park or a grocery store or something like that, some of these have to be like lined up like that. They're sometimes very annoying, but let's see if we can just maybe hold on, see if I can do this. That might work, and then if we slide this over this way, and then do the same, move all this up here. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Looks like we have stuff in the coolers now. Yeah, and then we'll put some of the. Oh, we really can't do too much of the bigger bottles up on top because they're massive. But can we do something like that? We really can't. Well, that's unfortunate. They want to get rid of that shelf then, but that's okay. I think for now that looks pretty good. It's not perfect, fair enough, but they looks pretty good for what we're doing here. Let's go ahead and run around to the front here though, and grab these pillars here. Now what I want to do is I want to use these vintage columns along with the base that went with them. Oh, come on. As supports for the roof that's going over the bar. Because let's see, something like that. I just don't want it just kind of hanging out there. I think something like this would work out pretty well. I didn't stay there. That's not ideal. Something like this, though. That might be a little large. Let's be fair here. That might be a little large. But we do something like this, though, and then move this down like that. So I want a bit of a slope roof to it, and that's kind of the idea here. So I do something like, come on. There we go. Let's move it to the other end here. This one might be a little bit more tricky because we do have a lot of stuff down here. We might have to move our the tip jar over here, which is okay, I guess. Crap, come on. Did I not include it in there? I did not. Oh well, we'll just have to move it like this. And we can probably just put it right there. That'll work. That'll be just fine there. And then start working on our roof then. Now I do want it to kind of, I don't know, I've been kind of debating what kind of roof I want on here. I can either do a flat roof, which technically would be okay, but the problem is it can gather water a lot quicker. And what I was thinking is do more of a sloped roof, kind of like it was added onto this building. I don't know. I know I have some special roof pieces in here that I might be able to actually use. Just gotta find them. That's kind of the other problem. Let's see here. Now I won't be able to find the piece I'm looking for, which would be unfortunate if I could not. Well, this is an idea. What about a tree grate? Yeah, okay. Might not have been a bad thing to use up front, kind of where those trees are now, but I kind of like the poles around them too, so that's okay. Where in the world does roofs go? Hold on. R-O-O-F. This is what I'm thinking of. Let's see what this is. I can't remember. Is this corrugated roof? Yeah, it is. Do I want to use that as kind of the thing? While it would be nice, I don't know. I don't think it would really fit, though. Let me kind of look here. I do a lot of corrugated roofing. I guess I can kind of see what, we can kind of see what this looks like, because this wouldn't take too long to actually do. Come on. There we go. It's not ideal, I'll be honest with you, but it might work. I'm just trying to think here. I don't know if I like it or not. Of course, what other kind of roof would I do back here? Unless I did like a tarp roof like I did for the stage. Which, would kind of add to that party feel. Like, because, I mean, if you're just kind of coming in, essentially the idea for this place it's like a back alley street party almost. I think that's kind of the best way to kind of describe it. So let's see if maybe there's an 8x8 sail, which is absolutely massive. But if I do something like this, so align this to surface. I could put a pole like through there. It's like an iron pole. You know what? I think what's holding me back here is those poles itself. I like them, but I don't think they fit in here. So let me get rid of them. I think that's gonna be the kind of what I'm gonna have to do. Which sometimes it happens. You gotta get you gotta realize that something's not working out or whatever, and you can kind of move on from there. Let's see here. I think if we add in something like this, and then we add in a hold on. Let's see if we added a 4x4 piece on the end here. I think that might work. Something like this. What would happen if we just added a 1x2 might not work. Yeah, 2x4 should work though. Yeah, something like this. This is what I was kind of thinking when I was coming up with this idea. So maybe an 8x4 on this. Ooh, this will be a little wide. Might just have to do a 2x4 all the way down on this end. Which, I mean, to be fair, it's given that feeling of what I was kind of thinking of when I originally thought about this. So, let's do something like this. Alright, I think we need to add some poles in here to see how this looks first before we kind of really decide on it. But I kind of like it so far. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the road pole in that we've been using for like the rides, the ride signs and all that. I think we do something like this. And then we do it in probably a gray of some sort. There we go. Something that really doesn't add to, or it's kind of just neutral. It's there for functionality over anything else. Like that. And I think what I want to do is I want to add some cable in here. This might have to do for right this second here. That's what I'm looking for here. If I can just align it to here and then rotate it up to there. Something like that. I have to move it in just a little bit more. See, this is kind of what I'm thinking here. Kind of wish I had that a little bit longer cable, but deselect those. Should be there we go. So there should be 3 pieces there now. Let's go ahead and just copy this to the other side here. If I need to do this, that, and that. We'll add 2 more poles in. One here to help cover up that side. And then we need 1 more. Now, fair, that's just really just to hold up these, but I think that doesn't look too bad. It's a little off, but, you know, for a street party, you know, back alley party, I think that'll, you know, kind of fits that theme. And then we can also run, I plan on running like lights, like kind of the string lights along, you know, from these poles out and along here, so that, here, let me just show you, because I think they, I would like the philosophy of showing is better than, kind of showing is better than just kind of explaining. Let's see here, constant. I'll probably just do these in white, because I don't see why, unless we did like a, because this is technically like an Irish pub or something like that. We could do a little bit like maybe green and maybe orange or something like that. But do something like this, and then run these all the way up to here, and then rotate these down, and we'll come out maybe a 45-degree angled from there. And you can kind of get the idea. As a matter of fact, I might actually do something like that. Ooh, it's kind of curving the wrong way. Not what I'm thinking here. That's what I'm thinking of. And then I did this with another park of mine where I actually had these lights here. And what I did was I actually took... Hold on, let me get the... I didn't have this cable here. I actually used the in-game cable. But I did something like this. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's duplicate it out like this. And then we'll rotate this down just a little bit here. Right, there's... Nope, that's not... I love it when it doesn't save your items. That kind of stinks. There we go. And then if we can get both of these, I really need to add this, add this into a group so I don't keep doing stuff like this. Do something like, ooh, well, that's a little off. That was a little odd because it's supposed to be a 4-meter piece, and that was a 4-meter cable too. So explains why it's a little off. Something like that. Move over just a little bit more, and over like that. Kind of get the idea of the feeling I'm going for here. Now, in all honesty, this will actually probably be moved back way more. And we'll probably just do something like this. Something like this. And then just slide another one on here. And then probably won't have a pole here. But then I probably need to move these two over just a bit more. Like that. Then I'll actually have it attached to the building here. You can kind of get the idea of what I'm kind of going for. Feeling wise, I mean, this is funny enough, I don't use these lights very often. I should use them more often. They're actually rather popular in parks. But yeah, I think if we had kind of a strand from there, then maybe a strand coming from like here to here, and over across here. Probably won't have one on this one because the band would be right there. And then kind of do something similar on this side, just coming off the building. Then it would be kind of fun, just kind of make a little more of a party atmosphere and things like that. So now kind of the bigger issue. Do I want to add more benches into here? Into this area here? I know I don't want to add too many more for two reasons. Number one, I kind of want to leave this a little more open. But if we do something like this and like this still leaves... let's see if we can actually move these back just a little bit more. Like that. This still leaves a nice big aisle here. I think it doesn't crowd the people at the bar, nor does it have people, like, if you're waiting in line here, you still have a pretty good open area there. And I think that's it, how many benches I'm going to put back here. I think this has become one of our larger eating areas. It's actually fully functional, too, so that's really cool to see. So, yeah, I think that's at least going to be the bar area done for now. That's what I'm going to at least call it done for now. And I'm thinking, actually, I want to redo these a little bit. I actually want to use the smaller ones because they actually attach to the cable there. I think that looks pretty nice. Something like this. I think I actually need to move the this middle cable here. I think we need to move it over just a bit because I was kind of compromising on where I wanted to put it, and I think if we decide to get like all this, then we can just move it over here, and we can even move it down a little bit. Maybe not too much though. And there we go. I think that looked pretty good. It's not perfect, but it does block out by a lot of the sun and most of the rain. That would be effective on a very rainy day. Who knows? But yeah. I think we've got quite a bit done today. I think I want to add just a planter here real quick. I don't know if I want to start much else though, because I think the next kind of big thing is going to be building these facades on this side, and we only have about a half hour left. So I might build this planter and call it a stream. I don't know quite yet, but let's see what planter wise. I kind of show you how I'll show you how I built these, because I built these off stream originally. So I used these beam pieces that I've used quite a bit in this build, and I like them. They look like they're pretty sturdy. And what I did is I first built like one side of this thing. So kind of like this. I'll probably have that side be the kind of the little more dominant side. I'll show you what I mean by that here in a second. Then I kind of moved out just a little bit and then moved it up. I don't remember how far I moved it up. It wasn't a whole lot, so something like this. It's kind of like that. And probably can't move it too much further back like that. Then I just kind of pulled this out like this and like this. And I did the same on the other side here, and that's kind of all I did. It's a real simple idea, but I like the stagger look. Kind of makes it look a little more like they actually put a little more thought into it. When really, in actuality, I didn't do any of that. I just kind of, this is one of the ones I was kind of playing around with, as I seeing what I could do. And what I also mean, because I said what side I wanted to dominate this, or this side I wanted to have out. This side is the one I wanted to actually have poking out to where you actually see the end of it here. I don't know, I think it looks kind of nice, a little more flush that way. I think we'll just raise it up like this. Move this back a bit, and then move it back this way to give our little lip there, and then move it back like that. And there we go. There's another planter there. Now I could do the same on this back side here, but since we're not going to actually see kind of the exterior of that lip, I get a feeling it might just be easier for us to just to actually align it with this line it with the wall there and just do a too tall one. I think that might just be easier. Something like this. Something like that. We might just even do one beam, because I think the actual beams are a little bit thicker than what I've actually used there, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to add the some mulch in here as well. I'll probably even make the tree as well. So let's see, cocoa nut. So this is actually what a lot of people use as mulch. As you can see here, maybe a little bit darker than that, please. That looks better. You actually do come in here with this. I don't know. What kind of baffles me is how people like find this stuff out. It's like, how in the world do you? I guess just experimenting and playing around with things. So, but yeah, you do this, and once you sink it in and you fill this whole area up with this, it'll look just like mulch. I mean, there also is mulch pieces in the game, but they're also gridded, so that means you have to have some sort of building or something like that to snap them to. And 9 times out of 10, like stuff like this, there's no way you could do that. So you're kind of out of luck if you're trying to use it with that. I still have a little bit of a corner down here that's not going to have mulch in it, which kind of stinks, but I think that looks a lot better. So let's go ahead and add in a nice tree here. Let's do a wood post. Let's see here. Alright, I don't see the post anywhere. Where is it at? I know it's towards the end here. Am I not getting that full list? It should be right around in here. Unless I'm just going blind, which, you know, could happen. Post. You know why? I think it's called a poll. That could be why I can't find it. There they are. And let's go over here to scenery. And go to nature, to bushes. Don't need a coconut bush because they don't actually exist. And then go over here to green bush. And there we go. I think we'll do another one just to help fill in this area just a bit more, because I think that's something that we could use something like that. Maybe a little bit smaller tree here. Let's do something like this, maybe. Maybe not. That one spreads out. The forest bushes seems to spread out a lot more than the green bushes like that. You get a miniature conifer there. It looks pretty good. That actually doesn't look too awful bad there. Really, I'm just kind of playing around with kind of what we can do here, but I think it might be something like this, though. We're going to just rotate it around, though. That should kind of differentiate those a little bit. That looks pretty good myself. I think just a little bit of ground covering like that, I think will help a little bit more. If we raise one up, just to kind of give it a little more height variation. Also, I think we need to add a few more flowers in here. We don't do a lot of flowers. You know, I would say for a park like this, it's probably not super important for flowering, but, you know, just kind of dot some flowers around. It would help a little bit. But add a few up in here. Just kind of help break up that green, too. We don't want to have, like, this overload of green. I don't know if that's really more natural or not, but I kind of like how it looks anyways. We have some either darker flowers around here, too. Do. And yeah, I think that's not. I mean, it's not ideal. It's not perfect. That's kind of the idea of this park. It's not going to be perfect, but it still looks nice. You know, we got some nice flowers in there, a little bit of color. So yeah, nothing too crazy, but I like it. You know what we could do? We actually could just finish up doing the stripe around here. I'm just going to do some of the smaller projects that we can get done in. And we got about 20 some minutes left. So, you know, it's not like I'm just trying to do some of the smaller projects like finishing off this. Or that's not what I wanted to do. Finishing off the stripe around here. I think that'll kind of help because when I was originally building this, I kind of noticed that this thing was just a big white wall. I didn't really like that. If you can, so what I've kind of learned doing stuff like this and other things, if you can really break up a texture like this, and with either an accent piece or adding something to it, like an advertisement or something like that, it really does help in kind of the grand scheme of things. Connect that to there. I'm going to actually go ahead and duplicate it because these are all a little bit different angle than They're not just like snapped angles, they're a little bit different. So if I do something like this, make sure it's completely lined up, and then scroll it back this way, like that. Let's get underneath the roof here. Probably should have done this before I built the bar, but oh well. Just keep on continuing down this way. Get a nice close-up view of the bar. Also need to make a better better door around here. I don't quite know how I'm going to do that yet. So I think the corner is coming up. Something like that. And then nope. Well, I think I missed the corner entirely because this game's saving and it's running so slow right now. All right, back out to there. Let's duplicate this around and go and raise this up a little bit. Continue this all the way around and doing the tops because there's two straps in the building. I think doing the second time it won't be that hard to do because we can just raise, we can just copy this and move it all up, so that won't be too awful hard to do. So we got one more side to do. Come on, there we go. And then we can actually finish up the stripe on the second floor too. Well, second, the more the upper one. So let's do that really quick here. Let's do across here. As I can't remember where I have done it and haven't done it. I think I just did it across the front, essentially. Alright, let's go ahead and copy this. Move this all up to about there. Let's double check this real quick, make sure it looks correct. I think it looks pretty good. Now you can kind of see this does break up a lot of this and kind of separates it into floors a little bit more. I think that actually looks pretty good myself. And it just kind of gives you a clearer picture. Yeah, this is supposed to be a 3-story building. I don't think it's actually quite 3 stories, but it's probably close enough to where, a lot of these parks will use stuff like forced perspective to say, yes, this is a 4-story building. You're not thinking that, or a 3-story building. You're just thinking that it is. But yeah, it's not too bad. And that's what kind of things I think I worry about buildings like this is that I think that especially in that earlier stage where it looks like it's just one big white wall. It's like, great, this doesn't look great at all. I don't know if I want to continue to do this. But then as it goes on, you think, oh yeah, this actually looks halfway decent. As when you start breaking things up into smaller chunks and putting the lines in and things like that, it actually makes it look like a halfway decent building. So I do want to put a little bit of wrought iron fence around kind of the top here, make it look like a small patio up here, but really this would just kind of be an area for just kind of one of those odd areas of a park where you can walk up here. They'll have to clean it because it's like things like leaves and maybe some trash we get up here, but like in actuality, pretty much this would just be for the show, not the producers, but the like engineers running the show. I plan on putting one of their a small booth for them up here, just so that excuse me, just so that they can run the show from up here and not have to worry about it too much. So there we go. I'm gonna grab some more drink. My throat is going out on me, and I don't know why. Of course, the past couple of days I've been out doing yard work. Like out in the front yard, doing a lot of trimming and stuff like that. Hasn't been done in a while, so it was nice to see all that getting done. Yeah, it's been and a couple things like especially when you're weed eating, or at least when I do it, for some reason it seems like I always get hit with everything that I hit. Like, I mean, I had rocks flying and like small bits of concrete and stuff like that, and I had some grass going to my mouth. It was disgusting, but it does happen, unfortunately. I think I want to actually cut this back to here. And I don't know if something that either just being outside, like I hit like some some flowers that kind of don't agree with my, kind of kick up some allergies or whatever. I mean, I feel fine. It's nothing like I'm not sick or anything, but I don't know. So something else I want to do though is I noticed when I was building this, or kind of when I was building around this area, I noticed that I had this big notch here. I really don't want to have that. And the only way I can do that is just move this wall back. Problem is, if I move the wall back, I got a feeling I'm going to have to move this wall over here. This one actually right here. And then if I take and edit this one, hopefully I can just slide this one over enough like that. And I think I can move these two pieces of pavement back just a little bit. And then I think I might just have to redo this side here really super quick. I'm going to split these from the building and then edit them so I can just slide them just to the left here. And that looks better. Alright, I think that looks a lot better now. Now, kind of the issue I'm having is how to do the top here. I want to do some sort of trim, but if you notice here, we don't have a lot of room. So let's look at the building here and see if maybe there's just some decoration of some sort. I think there actually is a section of roof decorations. Roof trims. That probably will work. See what we have here. Brownstone trim. This is probably massive. And I'm correct. Alright, well. Cast stone trim. Now we're back in the section of... Ooh, hold on here. That might look pretty nice. It's kind of... You're right, it's going to cut through those just a little bit, but if I move it back just a little bit, might get... Or you know what? Why can't I just put it on top here? Nothing tells me that I can't do this. We'll need something like that, though. Let's go ahead and... Yeah, I don't know why I just couldn't put it on the top of the roof there. I mean, technically, it just is hanging there, but I could, if I really felt so inclined. I could just do this, rotate it 180 degrees, and then move it back up like that, and I have this nice, cap to the building. I think that'll work. So let's go ahead and do this. Number one, I want to add it into this building here. I think it's the main part of the building, just so that I can copy and paste all the way down, so it'll be a little bit easier on me. Go like that. So I'm going to duplicate this one, so make sure it's completely lined up with this wall here, like so. Just kind of adjust a little bit there. Now we'll do the same with the back. Well, the back side is going to be a little easier just because I can duplicate it and then just put it on this wall. Line it up like So I have to move it up just a little bit. Then we can just highlight both of these and continue pasting them along this wall here. Like this. That. I think it looks good so far. I think that this is helping out quite a bit for what we're doing with it. Go ahead and do this. Like that. Now I think I'm going to have to leave the corners just kind of blank like that because I really don't have anything else to really, put on them to kind of help fill that gap. I might try to find something a little later, but I just don't see anything right now that I could add in there. Alright, I need one of the corner pieces, please. And then rotate it. Not how I wanted to rotate it. Alright. Let's do that. Like there. It's a little odd to actually use pieces as they were intended. This game is all about finding ways to use pieces that you don't think of and you make something else out of them. And that's great when you can do stuff like that, but it is kind of interesting to actually use something for what its intended purpose was. Which I guess we kind of, with part of it we are, and on the backside we're not really. And we're putting them upside down just to kind of make this raised roof edge, which is kind of interesting. It's a little bit different, but it's not out of the not out of something like too crazy, like using snowman pipes to make margarita machines. Like that. Raise that up to there. And this up to there. Just gonna move this back just a little bit because I think it looks a little bit better that way. Let's continue along the back side here. You see there's even a door there for where our, I guess the sound engineer or the show technician or whatever you want to call him would be able to exit out into this porch. Like this. And then one more side. We'll actually go from this side because I can just rotate these 90 degrees and be pretty sure that's going to be the same on this side here. Slide this down. And one more piece. Like that. And I think that looks pretty good. Especially from this angle. It looks like we've kind of capped off that roof. It actually looks like it's a little more planned. Especially with the lines, kind of going through the entire building now. It actually looks like it's a little more of a completed building. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm looking at these windows here, and I think there should be a third set of them over here. Well, this thing's going to make it difficult to me to do this. Because for some reason, they don't want me to do this. Let's try this. I think it might be the windows that are actually having issues. Yeah, looks like here. So let's slide these over to about there. That's about where I want them. Let's add these. Slide them over to about there. It's perfect on the wall there. Slide these over to there. There we go. That looks a little bit nicer. I think it's kind of, it makes, the building's kind of is kind of uneven on both sides, but I think we kind of did it on this side as well, so I think adding it over here works pretty well too. So yeah, there we go. I think that's a good way to kind of... I don't know if this building's going to be complete yet, but it makes it actually look like an actual building rather than just this, you know, block of walls. Such a way it kind of look like. And yeah, I'm actually kind of proud of it. I think we need to add some more windows on this back side here. Just kind of make it look like there is, you know, it's a little more lively. Same with up here. We might add a few windows, probably not a whole lot. Probably won't put any on this back side here. So this side we'll have to get a little creative what we do here. Maybe it might be like an advertisement of, you know, be like whatever, McFinnigan's back alley party or whatever it's called. We'll do something here kind of as the entrance so they kind of know where they can go get their food and stuff like that. We might put some more windows back here. But yeah, I think, so if you guys have not been here this whole stream, I'll kind of go over what we did. So we started out, I kind of went through the planters. That's kind of the beginning of the stream. Just kind of showing what we did there. But if we go over to a ride, let's go over to Shockwave. We actually did add in the warning labels, which are actually kind of neat. Every ride now has one of these. They rate from 1 to 5, with 1 being the least intense and 5 being the most intense. So you see here, Shockwave did get a 5 because, for obvious reasons, it's pretty intense. We didn't really do much on the side. We did finish up the lines on here and the roof, which you just saw. If we move back to the back here, though, we actually did build our stage, which looks pretty good. I actually did find some microphones, so that is a good thing to see in there. We did some guitars and stuff like that, so maybe the band's still getting ready to play, but I think it looks pretty good still. And then we actually worked on our bar over here, which I'm actually pretty proud about this. This took us the longest time. It's about an hour and a half to actually do all this. But so here we do have 3 registers. 2 for people just working on lines up here. And we do have a nice set of taps here. We do have a set of taps over here as well. I have a register back here for a person who's actually working on customers here at the stools. If you look in the back here, we do have some assorted hard liquors and things like that. We do have some mixers and juices in here, as well as a small margarita machine collection there, which I might try to redo a little bit later, and I'll sure yet. But yeah, that's kind of how we did everything. We added a little bit of fencing around here, and added this planter in. So maybe not as much progress as we did last time, but I still think we did quite a bit. We actually kind of really solidified this area a little bit better, kind of how it's going to look and things like that. I really like how this is turning out. There's still a few details I want to add. Maybe some plants crawling up the side of the building, make it look a little older. Want to add probably just a few. I might come back here and kind of redo a little bit of the brickwork, because you can add just bricks like this on the ground here into here, just to make it look like maybe there's some either supports here, or maybe that there were some repairs done to this building, and then they added some different colors of bricks in here. I don't know yet. There's maybe something like that, just kind of help break it up a little bit more. I still think right now this looks like a really good building for what it started out with today. Some of the other things I want to do kind of next stream for Planet Coaster, which will probably be next Tuesday, I want to start doing the facades around here. Now, these facades won't nearly be as big as this thing is. Probably only 2 stories. There might be a 3-story in the back here, but just kind of help. Probably just do a nice square one here, and then kind of follow the outline of the patio, and then back through here and back around this coaster here. Kind of make like a little block here. And this will probably be part of this backstage area here. I'll probably bring the facades probably down to here, and then probably just put some nice fencing along the rest of it. So kind of give you an idea of just to help build a backstage area. The garbage and stuff like that from this restaurant-ish area will probably be put back here too, and things like that. But yeah, guys, I think that's where I'm going to call the stream at. It's about 7-8 till, so it's about that time anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop it out to here. Guys, thanks for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. If you guys are new here, I do appreciate you guys. All I'm looking for right now is just some followers. If you liked what you saw here, so go ahead and leave a follow for me, guys. That'd be fantastic. We're up to 29, so we're almost to that 60% mark to getting to 50. So that'd be great to see if we can get there by the end of the year. If you're watching this later on YouTube, I thank you as well. If you watch all the way to this part especially, go ahead and leave a like and comment if you guys enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you want to see more like this. But if you guys are interested in watching any more live streams, if you want to come and chat with me, I do stream 3 days a week, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Tuesdays, we play Planet Coaster. We've been playing at least a lot of Planet Coaster. Originally, it was actually Roller Coaster Tycoon, but it's been more Planet Coaster recently. Thursdays, we've been playing Colonization, so a little more older games, stuff like that, are usually on Tuesdays. And Fridays is kind of our first-person shooters. We've been playing Mech Warrior 5 with that one. We just got our big Atlas mech in the last stream. We had to pull it out, and it's been pretty devastating so far. So guys, I hope you guys can come back for some more streams. I'll see you guys on Thursday then for some more Colonization. We should wrap up Colonization on Thursday, hopefully, because we're about at that point where we're ready to declare independence. So hopefully, if you guys want to see kind of the finale of that stream, it'll be on Tuesday, hopefully. So I'll see you guys then. Have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you guys on Thursday then. Bye for now, guys.